And we're live here on Facebook. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land. And as always, I like to welcome my friend Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. A little under the weather, but we're going to make it through it. So I apologize if I have to mute myself at any point due to coughing. So, Mike, it's good to see you again, as circumstances weren't the best of seeing you earlier this week. But
Yeah.
the stories that I heard in the procession line at the visitation, and just general people talking about your Grandpa Rex, he seemed like a really great guy, and really great guy. He's going to be missed. So sorry for your loss again, Mike.
Yeah. We're going to dedicate the show to his memory. Just a couple of quick facts. One, when he was 53, he had a heart attack that should have killed him. And God let him live, and he lived till the ripe old age of 89, getting to meet grandkids that he would have never met, and great-grandkids he would have never met, and even one great-great-grandchild. So it's sad, but he got to live an entire lifetime.
He sure did, Mike, and he lived it to its fullest. It was great hearing all of the things that he did post-retirement, too.
Oh, yeah.
Volunteering in the nursing homes, doing meal prepping and delivering stuff for
Yep.
Meals on Wheels. It was...
Yeah, he
kept himself busy.
he also was he knew who Jesus was and loved him. So, yeah, it's hard, but we know that he's better off. He's not suffering anymore, and so we look forward to getting to see him someday soon, but hopefully not too soon. But Rich, you forgot to say hi to some people.
I did. I thought that was more important.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it.
So yeah, hello to all the people watching us on YouTube. No matter where you're watching or listening to us, make sure to give us a subscribe, and if you're watching this live, make sure to leave a comment. And if it's appropriate, we'll make sure to read it on the air at the end of the show.
So, Rich, what do we have on tap for today?
Well, Mike, we'll be talking NASCAR like we do every week. We gotta let you know how the dirt race went, and then preview another unpredictable race in Talladega.
On top of it, we got the Cubs recap of the week and other MLB news and notes that we need to talk about. And we might talk a little draft. We might not. Who knows? And then, as always, your Masked Singer spoiler. All that and more. But, Rich, let's roll the intro! Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. And we're back. Okay, Rich. So, you had a good week?
Yeah, I had a good week. I had a couple of sick days, but I'm doing a lot better.
Good.
So, doing a lot better, hanging in there, and that's really all you can do.
Yeah.
So it's getting warmer out here, so it'll maybe be nice to try and get some fresh air today.
Yeah, so as Rich alluded, I was back in the Quad Cities as my grandfather died last week. So we were in town spending time with family and getting to see a couple friends who came to visitations and whatnot. So Danielle and the baby and I all drove almost 2,000 miles in a week. So we are kind of exhausted. But that doesn't mean we don't have a show for you. So let's get started. As always, Rich, it's time to talk about our poll question. This last week's poll question, we gave you 3 songs to choose from about basketball. Oh, no, looks like we gave you 4. We gave you Basketball, Basketball Jones, Be Like Mike, and One Shining Moment. Rich, what did you vote for?
I voted for One Shining Moment, the the montage song that they play at the end of every single NCAA tournament. At the end of March Madness, showing you the top highlights, not only from the winning team but throughout the tournament. So,
well, you voted for that. Your dad voted for Basketball Jones.
okay.
And those each got one vote. Oh, you had Wings on here as well?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to update it. So
Okay.
it's another song kind of about like Michael Jordan, actually.
Okay, didn't know
Michael
that
Jordan
song.
poster.
And Basketball. Neither one of those two got votes.
Yeah.
Your
So
winner?
Be Like Mike won, I take it.
Yeah, Be Like Mike with 4 votes.
All right. But much like putting Go Cubs Go against any other songs about the Cubs, I was pretty sure Be Like Mike was probably going to win, even though I think of it more as an advertising jingle to sell Gatorade, but it's still a song. You put it on there as a song for basketball songs, so it doesn't surprise me that it won.
Kind of like
So
what's going to
much-
happen this next week, right?
Probably, Mike. So this week with the NFL draft happening on Thursday night, we're going to go with football songs, and we're going to go with the Super Bowl Shuffle, All My Rowdy Friends, and Mr. Touchdown, USA. So
Okay.
that poll will go live at high noon today.
Okay. Rich, do you see what's coming up?
Is it a left turn, Mike?
It is a left turn, and after that,
It's another left turn because we're going into the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, over on Fifth Avenue in Moline.
folks, we were at Bristol last week for the Food City Dirt race. Really, is that great advertisement or what? We're going to race on dirt when Food City is our... I mean, does that mean Food City is dirty?
I don't think so. I mean, I think
I've been to
Food
a few
City has
feuds.
always been the race sponsor of the spring NASCAR race at Bristol. So they just tacked on dirt race at the end.
Yeah, I don't think it's... I mean, if I'm Food City, I'm like, I don't want to be a dirt race, but maybe they do. I don't know. Anyway, did you watch the race, Rich?
I did. So I got to watch the second stage, and when they had to put on the red flag, that's when we were driving home from having Easter dinner at my folks' house, and we got to come home and I watched the last stage of the race while I was prepping my lunches for the next week.
I didn't even know there was a red flag. I didn't watch a single bit of it. We were
Driving.
or sleeping or driving. But yeah, so I didn't get to watch any of it. It looks like your race winner is Kyle Busch, which, by the way, I did tell you beforehand I was thinking about picking him. I didn't.
Yeah.
I picked Martin Truex Jr. instead, and he took 21st.
Yeah, my pick of Christopher Bell came in 7th place.
So, once again, you took a win, which means that you got 1 point. That puts us tied at 5 points apiece, even though I have like twice as many wins as you. But you get the wins,
Yeah.
so that's what counts. Anyway,
Yeah. So
this
do you
week,
think they're going to keep turning the spring
oh yeah,
race at Bristol into a dirt race?
yeah, 100%.
Because honestly, by the time it got to the third stage, because of how much racing was done on the dirts between the truck race earlier and a little bit of rain, you were starting to see the concrete starting to show. The concrete lines were already starting to show up again.
Yep, and that's going to happen. I mean, that's part of the nature of that track with right now. You still have the concrete is still dirty,
Mm-hmm.
so it's still going to cause the track to be slick and ride almost like a dirt track, but it does not like it. Yeah, so it's fine. So heading into Talladega, you ready for parties and excitement and all that later today?
Yeah, I thought is Talladega running today or is it running Saturday? I thought
It is Saturday, Rich.
I'm sorry, it's been a long week.
Yeah, tell me about it.
long odd week. I thought it's running Saturday on a Sunday race.
It might be. I don't know. You said it.
Yeah, they're going to be
Yeah.
running Saturday, Sunday, 'cause they're doing qualifying right now.
Yeah, qualifying right now. Sunday at 3 p.m. on Fox.
All right. So probably much like we talk about with Daytona, and probably even the dirt race a little bit.
Yep.
Super speedway, it's totally unpredictable. Anything can happen, and most of the time, much like with what you had with the dirt race, the person that wins the race only led the very last lap of the race.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's a crazy thing. You never know who's gonna win, and that's kind of terrible. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely, if you're filling out your fantasy NASCAR lineup, put together a lineup of guys that aren't going to hurt you in the long run. If they wreck out and you got to take 10 points or a less than 15 points on your point total.
Yep.
I don't know if I would go to the bottom of the barrel and fill your team up with no-name guys or super speedway specialists, but at the same time, I don't think I would want to use guys like Elliott, the Bush brother, Elliott, Bush, Larson, Harvick, guys like that, guys that you're going to want to have throughout the entire year.
Yeah, I agree. Pick sparingly, pick smartly, Rich, but unlike fantasy, you have unlimited picks on guys you want to win the race. You won last week. You have the honors. Who do you pick to win Talladega?
I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe to win at Talladega. He did pretty well at Daytona earlier this year, and I think at both NASCAR races at Talladega last year. You think he still finished within like the top 10s in both ones. So
yeah,
I'm going to go with Briscoe.
I don't blame you on that one, but I'm going to pick Denny Hamlin. Needs to kind of rally his team and get a good win. So I think this will be a good week for him, and I think they can do it. But
he's usually pretty good on the super speedways too.
While we were talking about the fantasy NASCAR, I figured I'd bring it up, give you last week's point totals, and then overall standings. Solomon Stroop comes in first place with 219. Easer A's came in second with 209. Rich, you came in third with 163. Funkhouse comes in fourth with 159, and I'm bringing up the rear with 103. Think I totally forgot to mess with the fantasy lineup and do anything on that. So, my bad yet again. But overall standings, Rich, you are still in the lead with 1629.
All right.
In second place is Funkhouse with 1617. Very close third place, Dupo, 24 at 1610. In fourth place is 1445 and that would be Easers. And then I'm bringing up the rear with 1224. So, take my advice for fantasy NASCAR with a grain of salt. Okay. Is that everything you have to say about NASCAR?
Yeah, I think so, Mike. So why don't you give Triple I Sports Cards one more plug?
This has been Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out in person on 5th Avenue, Moline, or on their eBay store for all your sports card memorabilia needs. Once again, that's Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Okay. Keep making left turns as we get into the MLB. So we've had 2 full weeks of baseball and a weekend. Rich, Cubs had a slightly disappointing week.
They kind of did. I thought that they kept the games really close against Tampa Bay, though.
They did, surprisingly close at times. The fact that they won a game against Tampa Bay slightly surprises me. Rich, you said they would win 4 games. I said they would win 3. In all actuality, they won 2.
Yeah, and that 2-4 week drops their overall record to 6-8. So when we last got together and did our show, they were in first place. Now they're in 4th place within the division.
Okay.
But it's still early. 6-8 is not terrible. And
okay, but do you trust them?
I don't.
What about this team gives you any hope? Young talent.
Not much.
There's young talent. It's a lot of young guys now. And apparently the Cubs are going to ride a Suzuki all the way to as far as they can go. That guy's got to get you excited.
Yeah, he does. Really, if anything, the guys that are getting me excited are the guys that could be flipped for more prospects at the end of the year.
I mean,
guys like David Robertson at the back end of the bullpen. Every team's looking for a closer.
Yep.
At the trade deadline, so that's one guy I really want to see do well, because if he's getting into the ball games, that means the Cubs are winning. But because of what you could get in return to a team that's looking to upgrade their bullpen.
Yeah.
So David Robertson's the guy I'm looking forward to. I hope does really well throughout the year, and maybe even Clint Frazier and Patrick Wisdom. Maybe not long-term building blocks, but guys that are up there in age for getting their first major league shots at the major leagues.
Yep.
So you want to see them do well.
Yep.
And let's get some money out of Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward's got to do something.
We're never gonna get money out of him.
No. But if he plays well, maybe we could convince somebody to take him in a trade, or he opts out of that contract. Neither of which will probably happen.
None of that's going to happen. He's not good enough. Okay. So this week the Cubs have 2 more with the Pirates today and tomorrow. A 3-game series in Atlanta, and then when we meet again, they will have played 1 game against the Brewers. 6 games. Rich, how many games are they going to win?
I'm going to give them deuces, Mike. I think they're going to get 2 wins. The Braves are tough. The Brewers are always tough to play against. And I think we're going to get them. We're getting to the part of the rotation that's a big question mark. Terrible.
Yep.
So that's why I'm only giving them 2 wins.
Okay, don't blame you on that at all. I'm going to give them an extra win this week. I think they should at least get 1, if not 2 out of both the next 2 out of the Pirates, especially because they just lost 2 versus the Pirates. So they should split that series. That should give them 2 wins. I don't want to say automatically, but they should be able to squeak out 2 wins. And then you always hope to at least win 1 game out of a series, and so I gotta give them 1 against the Braves. 3, I hope.
All right.
So
we'll see how they do.
Not a lot of confidence in that, just because of the Cubs this year don't give me much confidence. So,
but you still got to support them and listen to Pat and Rod on the radio.
I mean, you know what the best part about driving 3,000 miles in a week and a half?
A lot of baseball on the radio.
Listen to baseball. And they've been mostly games that are on while we're driving. So yesterday we got to listen to the game on the way up here because it was a night game, and we got to catch the first 5 innings in the car, and then I came home and had a bunch of work down here with the fish. By the way, we have a whole bunch of fish in here. We're just quarantining them and making sure they're healthy and good to go, and then we're going to get them into the big tank, and then we're working on Danielle's classroom tank, so we got a bunch of fish for that too. So we ended up buying 60 fish yesterday and then driving them up here. They all have survived so far. We're medicating them and getting them healthy once they're good and healthy. Danielle's fish are going to be here through the summer.
Mm-hmm.
My fish are going to join the big fish tank and get to do that.
Very nice, Mike.
So in doing that, we got to listen to the Cubs game. More MLB news this week. I think it surprised nobody. Was this forced or non-forced, Rich?
Well, he wasn't getting any free agent offers, and almost since leaving the Cubs, he really hasn't done his age caught up to Jake Arrieta finally.
And so Jake retires. Now, are you talking the first time he left the Cubs? Or this last time that because we picked him up on a 1-year contract and we're like,
the first time that he left the Cubs, he hasn't been the same. Age finally caught up with him.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate everything he did for us in 2016, 2015.
Even 2015.
Like he was a beast in 2015. Got us to the World Series that year. And they ran into an amazing Kansas City Royals team, and then we stole their shortstop or their second baseman. So that I guess he was more of a utility guy. We stole their utility guy, and went on to win the World Series the next year. You look confused, Rich.
We didn't play the Royals in the World Series.
Did the Dodgers lose to the Royals then?
No, that was the Mets. We ran into a buzzsaw of the New York Mets in the 15.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Stupid David Murphy.
Yeah.
Could not figure out a way to get that guy out.
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about that. And then, but
he had some great years in Cubby Blue.
He went an entire calendar year without losing a game.
Yeah, he was really, really good.
I mean, he had quite a bit of no decisions, but he was as much of an ace as I've seen on the Cubs in.
And he stopped the bleeding.
Yeah.
And turned the series around in Game 5 back in 2016.
Yeah.
When he pitched the last home game in Wrigley Field in that World Series to get the series back to Cleveland that week.
Yeah, and
that day.
You know what? It's the Cubs. I mean, what he did for the Cubs. If I ever was at a bar and he was there, I'd buy him a drink. I mean, I know that he could pull his platinum whatever card out and buy the entire bar as many drinks as it took for everybody to pass out, and it wouldn't be that bad for him. But I'd still buy him a drink. He made it so that I got to watch the Cubs win a World Series. I'll buy him a drink.
Yeah. Really anybody from that team, probably except Jason Hayward, is probably going to be a Cub, always be remembered as a Cub for life.
Yeah.
Because of what they did for that team. Him, Lester, Cousin Kyle, like Rizzo, Bryant, Baez, no matter how many more years they play on other teams, they're always going to remember this Cubs.
Grandpa Ross,
yeah.
Yeah. So, any other news coming out of the major leagues that...
Maybe not the major leagues, but there was certainly some noise and talk about some poor sportsmanship in college baseball. As I guess a pitcher went and full-blown tackled a runner that was rounding third base that had hit a home run off of him, which got him suspended for the rest of the year, and the athletic department is being investigated.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I think we also have to acknowledge, and do we do it today about Miggy, or do we wait until it actually happens?
Wait till it actually happens.
Okay.
You don't want a situation like the Bernie Mac movie, Mr. 3000, where you're celebrating that he got 3,000 hits, even though technically he didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
but he's getting close.
He's darn close. Isn't he one hit away?
One hit away.
If it wasn't for weather last night.
And getting walked by the Yankees.
Yeah,
Aaron Boone did not want to be the one to give up the 3,000 hits. He said, hey, that's for stealing a World Series from me.
Ooh,
and
he walked him. I like it.
So he walked him.
Okay. But it'll likely happen before we meet again, I would guess.
Oh, yeah. I think it will. So it's nice that MLB TV, whether you have the subscription or not, is giving you live look-ins to his at-bats when they happen. Nice. So it's great.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
After
so next
that,
week, Mike, we'll be talking about some NHL playoffs.
Yep.
Just give you a little bit of preview about next week's show. We'll be talking, looking at our preseason predictions, giving you updates on who we think is going to win the Stanley Cup next week, Mike. So have that guess figured out. It'll be a guess since we really don't follow hockey too well.
Let's talk NFL draft.
Yeah, we got some time. So we maybe talked about doing a top 10, but with how busy things were this week.
I apologize,
really
folks. My week has been nuts, and I apologize. I did not do as much homework as I normally do for the show. But let's talk NFL draft. Are you excited about this draft at all?
Not really. I've been trying to follow mock drafts to see where people are putting things. I mean, it's a very weak class. There's no really standout.
I disagree.
All-around number one pick this year. Right?
I disagree that it's a weak class. It's a weak class in what people want the draft to be. Everybody wants quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs. And there's not a lot of those guys. I will admit that. But we have some of the top prospects that we've seen in our lifetimes, Rich, when it comes to linemen. You're talking about guys that pay the bills when it comes to the NFL. You want a good team? Draft great linemen. And what do we have in this draft, Rich?
You do have good defensive and offensive linemen.
You have amazing offensive linemen. And so, as much as it's not a glamorous, glitzy, happy-go-lucky, everybody's going to get to see their team instantly improve because they got a good quarterback. No, you're going to see teams that actually improve because a quarterback is not the end-all, be-all. The Bears have Justin Fields, but what do they have for a line that's going to protect him?
They don't have one. But they also don't have a first-round draft pick.
They don't.
That was Justin Fields.
But the offensive and defensive lines this year... Look at the offensive. Look how much depth there is in that. There is good possibility. So this, to me, is an awesome draft to watch. I'm actually really excited about it, mostly because I want to see. I hope we see teams be smart this year. I expect my number one prediction will be that there will not be a quarterback in the top 10.
I think that there's going to be one in the top 10.
Ooh. What? Who do you think is going to be drafted in the top 10, and do you have a prediction for who it's going to be?
I think you're going to see somebody trade up to the top 10 to get the quarterback.
And who do you think it's going to be? Because there's
I think
two
they're
right
going to
now.
go with potential. I think they're going to go with potential. They'll go with Malik Willis.
Okay. I think that's a possibility, and I think that's mostly because teams are desperate. But I don't think.
It's not going to be in the top 5. No way it's going to be in the top 5.
I don't see any of the quarterbacks this year as. Again, hear what I'm saying. I don't think any of the quarterbacks this year are top 25 prospects in last year's draft. I don't even know if they're first-round draft picks in last year's draft. with all of the talent we saw come out of the quarterbacks last year, do any of the quarterbacks this year have the potential? Would any of them made it in the first round?
No, I don't think they would.
Okay. Then why are we reaching so high to get a quarterback that last year wouldn't have been a first round and might not even have seen the second round?
Because I think you'll see teams that are desperate, they're in desperation mode. I mean, what future does Carolina, New Orleans, or even like Pittsburgh, and I'd probably say Seattle have at quarterback?
See, I think the problem with that is that they're looking at they're looking at this year. Next year, Bryce Young coming out, he's going to be a good draft pick. CJ Stroud for the Buckeyes, you have two good prospects, probably top 10 guys. Carolina, you're bad. Even drafting this quarterback, even if you draft that quarterback, you're probably not going to be in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. I think any quarterback that gets picked, whether it's within the top 10, outside of the top 10, I don't think any of these guys are going to be starting this year. You're drafting on potential or what you think they can be, not what they are.
There are at least 4 quarterbacks I see next year that have the potential to be first-round draft picks. Now, again, I'm looking a full year out, so the year could go crazy and we could end up with more. We could end up with none of them. They could all break their legs for all we know. Lord, I hope that doesn't happen. But
no, of course.
There are plenty of guys in the league, in college right now, that have the potential to make a good run for next year's draft. Significantly better prospects next year than there are this year. Why go up and go after a guy that, if you have the opportunity, you would draft somebody different next year?
I think it just comes down to potential for me. Call it a gut reaction, but I'm going to go with potential.
Have I said you're wrong in any of it?
No, you haven't.
Because I think you're right. I think somebody, and I think your call on Carolina is probably a decent call. I don't think they should. I think you have to draft the best player in front of you. Even if you need a quarterback, especially this year, draft who's in front of you. Don't reach too far and get a guy that should be a second rounder in the top 10.
Yeah. The reason why I'm thinking Carolina first for a quarterback, that's when you could start hearing chatter about quarterback, is because they don't have picks in the second and third round, so they can't go probably draft the quarterback where he should be drafted at.
Yeah. And that's that one that I will give you as a good potential for a reason. But
and also, I mean,
I would
Atlanta
say
has
the better
Marcus
thing,
Mariota, who can't stay healthy.
If I'm Carolina, the better thing to do, they have one or two first rounds this year. I don't remember what Carolina has for first rounds.
Carolina just has the 6th pick.
Okay.
That's it.
You can take that 6th pick and get a second and a third out of that. If you trade down. Draft your quarterback in a spot that you need it, that he should be drafted at, and don't reach too far.
By all means.
That's what they should do. I agree with you.
And you could probably make an argument that everybody in the top 10 just trade down.
Yeah, I think I agree with you that's the problem is if everybody's trying to get rid of their top 10s, is a top 10 really worth it?
Yeah.
So it kind of dilutes the quality there. So,
Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, so I think you're by all means you're going to see a lot of linemen drafted, both on the offensive and left side. It's a good draft for wide receiver needy teams too, is that it's
Yeah.
really deep there. So the Bears, what would you like to see the Bears do as they have 2 second-round draft picks?
Um, um, Again, I would trade down even from my 2 second rounders and hopefully get 2 third and 2 fourth rounders. Um, but linemen, offensive linemen is what they need. I mean, the best play right now. I think if they go linemen, their first second round pick is a lineman. See what receivers are available, and if there's not a great another or somebody good enough to draft in the wide receiver for your first round pick, you got to go after another lineman. The Bears need offensive linemen because what's it matter if your guy can run a 4.2 40 if your quarterback gets sacked in 3 seconds?
Yeah, I would go, Mike. I think I would go with an offensive tackle.
Yep.
For the first second round pick, and then I'd look at wide receiver for the second one.
I agree. I think you do. They have to get tackles. They need an offensive tackle. You could probably make an argument for a guard, but any offensive lineman is where I would go first, and then your second best available wide receiver and or next best guard.
Yeah, so it's not going to be it's not a
sexy draft,
glamour, sexy draft. But if you're a team that's looking to plug holes, has multiple holes, and draft the best player available, it's a good draft for that, using that draft strategy.
Yeah,
of best player available to fill holes.
Totally agree. Okay, next week we will give you our reaction to the first and second rounds of the draft. Do you plan on watching it at all, Rich?
It might all depend on what's going on Thursday. I know with the draft being on ESPN, I know you're not going to necessarily be able to log into ESPN Plus or anything to watch it live without putting in a cable subscriber. But I know last year I think I watched like more of a reaction show where they were talking about it. So that's probably going to be how I'll have to watch it, to where it'll be more, the pick is in, and then like the commentators, like an alternate telecast of it.
Yep.
Instead of what's actually going on the draft.
Okay. So Rich,
so we'll give you our thoughts on what happened, what the draft picks we liked, the draft picks of the teams that we thought could have done a little bit better job, or kind of like the unexpected picks that we didn't see happening.
Yep.
And as well as giving our reaction to what the Bears either did or didn't do in the first 2 rounds.
Yep. So heading over to the NBA and the hardwood, in the first round of the playoffs, the Phoenix Suns lead the New Orleans Pelicans 2-1. And the Dallas Mavericks lead the Utah Jazz 2-1. The Golden State Warriors hope to close out Denver tomorrow night as they lead 3-1. The Grizzlies lead Minneapolis 2-1. Rich, any of those surprise you?
Probably the Dallas over the Jazz.
Yeah, I heartily agree with that.
Yeah, because they're playing without Luka Doncic.
Yeah. Heading over to the East, Miami leads Atlanta 2-1. Philly leads Toronto 3-0, hoping to close that out tonight. You can check that out on TNT. Milwaukee leads the Bulls 2-1. And Boston leads 2-0 over the Brooklyn Nets. Are you surprised by any of that?
Not really.
I'm surprised Atlanta was able to pull off a game over the Miami Heat. The Heat have been on fire. No pun intended, I promise.
Mhm.
They have been a hot team. Again, no pun intended, but why? Yeah. Philadelphia, I always root against Philadelphia teams because their fan bases are terrible human beings and horrible to anybody. So, and I like Toronto. Excuse me, I like the Raptors, but it has not proven to be an issue when Philadelphia has gone up there to play. So, if Toronto gets knocked out this first round, apparently it's not going to matter whether or not you have to go to Canada to play a game.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I thought the Nets would do better, but I think that when they traded for Ben Simmons, knowing that Ben Simmons had been out all year,
Yeah,
with contract disputes and injuries, they were a team that was probably looking to next year.
yeah. I have a problem with the Nets anyway, and I'm glad to see them struggle. Golden State, I mean, good to see them back in the winning ways as they're used to. I mean, they still have the hottest shooter in the NBA ever, I would say. So, those games are on TNT and ABC and ESPN. Check your local listings for those. We got games all weekend, so should be something entertaining to watch on TV at least at some point. So how do you feel about the fact that if last night's game would have gotten played, the only place to watch it... I'm sorry, I'm going back to baseball. Just because we're kind of in time filler zone, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to baseball, if last night's game would have been played, the only way to watch Miggy get his 3,000th home run or hit would have been Apple TV.
Well, if anything, with MLB's streaming deals, while I think I like the idea of putting your product on streaming services is kind of being the wave of the future with so many people cord cutting. The fact that they're exclusive deals to where it's not like a simulcast on your team's normal broadcasting network and Apple TV Plus for nationwide coverage, they're certainly making it hard to watch baseball.
Yeah,
The diehard fans
that's the other.
diehard fans are really, they're making it hard on them.
I mean, you mentioned it, and I totally agree. If I'm subscribed to Cubs baseball, and if I'm
Exactly.
if I'm subscribed
say
to
like
Cubs baseball and the game's on Friday night, I can't watch it.
That is correct. Like if you played for Fubo or whatever it's called, the one streaming service that has a deal with Marquee Network, if they get picked up for a game for Apple TV Plus, you would have to have a subscription with Apple TV Plus to be able to watch that game. Now, I think that for the first couple of games that Apple TV is giving, they are letting you watch it on the free side of it, not behind the paywall.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But I don't know. I mean, it's the same one when you start seeing games on like the brunch game that Peacock Network is going to air exclusively as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I already have a hard enough time with ESPN or with Marquee Network being so exclusive. So,
Certainly not what you thought would happen when the Cubs announced the creation of the Marquee Sports Network.
yeah.
Of so many national TV providers not wanting to pay the fees to carry it. I mean, you could be I think it's a Dish Network subscriber. Can you get the Marquee Network? No, I don't even think
DirecTV has it.
DirecTV has it, but only DirecTV for whatever reason.
Yeah. And Fubo.
So I mean, and Fubo. So it used to be on Hulu with live television, not anymore.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm hoping that eventually you start to see
Fubo's so
individual
expensive.
individual teams doing direct to consumer subscriptions for
Do I know?
for streaming.
If you are out there and you're a friend of the show and you have DirecTV with Marquee Network, you can PM me. Send me a DM. I need to talk to you.
Give them your Twitter handle, Michael.
Oh, I meant either on Facebook or on Twitter. It's Meet Hart at
DM.
It's at Meet Hart. So check me out there. Slide into my DMs if you are interested in helping a brother out. Anyway, so Rich, I think it's time to give the spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. If you do not want to hear what happened this week on The Masked Singer, turn us off. Right there. You can do it. Hit stop. Mute your TV. Wherever you're watching us, listening to us, stop. But before you do that, if you are listening to us in podcast land, give us a 5-star review if you think we're doing a good job. If you are watching us on YouTube, Rich, what should they be doing?
Hit that subscriber button so you'll know once we post our live recordings from Facebook.
Make sure you hit the bell as well.
Like us.
Yep, like the video, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And if you are on Facebook and you're watching us either live or you join us later, leave a comment in the comments and share the stream for us if you could. Okay. Once again, this is a spoiler alert for The Masked Singer. We are going to give spoilers, even though I haven't seen it because I have been, like I said, driving way too much and dealing with other things. We're going to talk about it because we have to, because that's what we do. So Rich is going to give us a bit of a rundown of the show and then give us the loser of the week. If you are not wanting to hear it, go away now. Otherwise, Rich, take it away.
All right, Mike. So this was the week where they finally unmasked Rudy Giuliani. Even though way back in January they said that he was on the show and that he was going to be one of the people unmasked.
So what's his character?
He just didn't know. He was the Jack in the Box.
Okay.
Or the mystery box that was on Team Bad.
Okay. So once again, more proof that Team Bad just sucks at singing.
Yeah, but the Cobras, the Queen Cobra was really good. They played it off as you don't know whether it's a group or just one singer.
Okay.
So I thought other than the Jack in the Box, which was Mayor Giuliani, everybody was really good on that show. So
Good.
I could really see any of them moving on.
Good.
But I think at this point, I'm going to have to go with the theory that it's going to be 3 people from Team Good moving on to the finals to be unmasked.
Okay. Any surprises?
Maybe not surprises, because when you read the story all the way back in January that there was controversy on The Masked Singer, you knew that Dr. Ken was walking off the set after the unmasking when it was revealed that Giuliani. It wasn't as dramatic as the story made it sound to be during the the panel interview with him after he got unmasked. He just sort of sat there looking, kind of looking like a pouting child that he was on this show and that it was, but he didn't interact with Rudy. He just sat there, cross-armed, looking stern and upset. Yeah. And everybody else, like Robin, who the story said also walked off set, was just did a wow. I can't believe it was you. Wow, I would have never saw this coming. But so he didn't really interact with him. It was mostly Jenny and Nicole asking questions. And then you didn't catch. And then Dr. Ken, the only thing that Ken said about it was that his mic must have still been on, because when he started singing his song Unmasked, Ken's mic picked up when he said, "All right, I'm done this week. I'm out." And then he walked off stage. The camera couldn't cut away fast enough to watch him. Yeah. It still showed him walking off the set.
I mean, they don't they could have edited it out if they wanted to. They chose not to.
They could have.
It's all a show. I understand it. I'm not here to argue the politics of it. We're just here to talk about it. Sad that that's what it came to, but you got to do what you got to do at times. So there's that. Rich, any shout-outs for this week?
I do not have any shout-outs this week.
Okay. I'm going to shout out my entire mom side of the family. Good to see everybody. Sorry that the circumstances were so crappy, but Grandpa lived a good long life, and he provided us with great memories and great lessons. And Rich, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So we had the whole funeral, and at the end of the funeral, the priest looked over at this random lady and nodded her head, and she went up on stage.
Okay.
And she's like, "Hi, some of you don't know who I am." And she said her name. I don't remember who it was, but she said, "I want to share a special message." And it was a priest from Africa who came to visit the United States and work at the church that Grandpa went to. Called in for the funeral to give a message of thanks and thanksgiving for Grandpa, and a joy it was to know him and to get to know him as a friend, and appreciation for the love and kindness that my grandfather showed this priest from halfway around the world. And he called in specifically to share that with the family. And he legitimately is back in Africa at the moment. Mm. And so that was something that really, nobody was really expecting it. And then all of a sudden it happened, and it wasn't it was unexpected, and it was so joyful, and it was so meaningful to our to the family. Like, even people from the family that don't go to church, a lot of them, you could see that just because they didn't believe the same thing, but seeing that someone from Africa would reach out and want to be a part and want to share their thoughts and their love of our grandfather with us and with those in attendance, it was quite meaningful, and it was awesome. And I'm very appreciative for that. That was probably, I mean, I knew lots of stories about my grandpa, riding a motorcycle with a blind man on the back of it and getting in a wreck and breaking the blind man's arm and stuff like that. Those funny stories we all know, but it's those little things that he wasn't doing it for the recognition. He was doing it because God had asked him to do it. And so he did what he knew the gospel told him to do, and that might have been just driving a priest around the Quad Cities to show him the area, and then finally stopping at Whitey's because it's the best ice cream in the world. Or whether it was feeding the homeless, or clothing the naked, or taking care of the least of these. Hearing the little stories is really what drives it home for you. So shout out to Grandpa Rex Scranton. We already miss you, and we will continue to miss you, but we will, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord in the way that you did, and we'll welcome people, and we will do our best. So thanks for letting me share that quick story about my grandpa. Folks, thank you for joining us this week. I promise I will get us caught up on YouTube and on the podcast world. We have been slacking behind again. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. So thank you so much for joining us. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Rich, do you want to do it, or do you want me to do it because your voice?
Let's actually do neither. And in honor of Grandpa Rex, why don't we just send it out with a moment of silence this week in honor of him?
Okay.
So we'll talk at you next week, folks. Thanks for watching and listening this week.